fucking go. We about to go big. Kill him with the PrizePicks. Let's fucking go. We going out blazing.
Let's get honey.
This is population. About to go big. Kill him with the PrizePicks. About to go big. Kill him with the PrizePicks. 24/7 researching, it's all a fantasy. But if I make the right plays, it pays automatically. Bankroll showing that I know it dope strategy. On a winning streak, I'm stacking a dose of the bookies, all get mad at me. Confident with how it plays, not clicking on a flex today. 10 times the money, and we all about to get paid. Arrogant shots on the stream, they be killing it. Never gonna stop it, they like if you feeling it. Taking the players, they all know what time you can't make up your mind and just go with your gut. Fantasizing, Sasha Cloud. Gabby Williams said, watch your mouth. They won and they two, I played the over, they come through. Jackie Young and Kelsey Plum, pick them both, we stacking them. Going big to the maximum, just push them in, we cashing them. Let's fucking go. We about to go big. Kill him with the PrizePicks. Let's fucking go. We going out blazing. This is population. About to go big. Kill him with the PrizePicks. About to go big. Kill him with the PrizePicks. We about to go big.
This is the game.
We going out blazing.
Let's get honey.
This is population. About to go big. Kill him with the PrizePicks. About to go big. Kill him with the PrizePicks.
All right, what is up, crew? We are back, better than ever, for Game 2 of the semifinals WNBA. Really excited about today. It's been a wild day. A lot of changes on the board since these props have been up, especially today. And we have this promo going on, and it's a 15x for a 5-pick entry, and I think it ends in 20 minutes. So I think we're going to change things up, and we're going to give some of our favorite plays right off the bat if you want to get a 5-pick in to tail with us and sweat with us. But we have our usual Eric with us today, and special guests Vince and Tito We Trust. How are we doing today, guys?
Not bad, man.
Doing good, man. It'd be better without bumps, but here we are.
Right. Man, like since last night, I had a rankings list, and it's just completely completely done for now, and have to revise completely. But yeah, we had about 20 minutes, so let's just bang out like a 5-pick for the fam with us three here, and then we can just get into the game by game analysis. I think some of our favorite picks so far, post bumps and changes, are probably going to be Candace, either her stocks and still even her rebound or fantasy is still alive even after the bumps. But I think we were all in agreement on Candace's flock steal, correct?
Yep, cleared in every meeting.
Yeah, I think it's 2.5 on underdog too.
Okay. And then did you guys have any other favorite ones to share with the group for this 5-pick?
Yeah, I really loved Asia rebounds today. She's just
I'm right
another one that should be at 10 and definitely could be changed to 10 before locks.
I'm right there with you, especially if a hobbled Hamby ends up playing and Stokes plays less minutes. How about you, Vince?
Eric took mine. So we're going to go to another one. I really feel like Copper is going to get to the line tonight. I mean, just 2 trips, and she was getting hacked last game. I mean, there was so much contact inside the paint, and there was just no calls. Yeah, I just don't see that happening again.
Yeah, Chicago made a point after the game about it, and during the game, and they a lot of reporters and beat writers think we should expect Chicago to get more calls in this game due to all the complaints. And she would have cleared last game, but she missed both free throws on one of her trips to the line. So,
pain.
Yeah, she finished with 2, and yeah, she missed both of them. Would have had 4. I'm with that. And then I think we always like Jackie, even though Chelsea Gray and Plum are ball hogs. But I think I think we should expect a different Vegas offense today, which we're going to get into. I think they're going to rotate the ball more and set up their half court offense more. And Jackie only took 6 field goal attempts last game and still finished with 24 fantasy points. So her season average is close to about 12 field goal attempts per game. So she took half her shots, but she takes her usual. I think she can clear this fantasy, which has gone down by 1. I think we all like that as well. And then do we have a consensus 5th pick?
There's a lot of good plays, but not super smash plays.
Like there was before earlier in the day and last night.
Exactly. I mean, we did start liking Emma a little more.
I was just about to say.
We do have a lot of shy there now. So that's something to be weary of. But a lot of Chicago prop, but they don't negatively correlate, so we should be good.
Yeah. After watching the film on the last game, she was just running the entire offense from the high post and setting up plays for others, and she would have scored more than 10 points, but I counted at least 3 shots that rimmed in and out. And it just seems like historically in this matchup, she plays 30 plus minutes, while like in the New York game, her minutes were cut down to like 25 to 27 because they didn't need her out there for that matchup. Would you guys lean her fantasy or her PRA? I think our projections have her well over both.
I don't think there's a need to rely on stocks for that fantasy score. I think she's going to get enough minutes where we can just go PRA and be perfectly comfortable. Like you said, a lot of shots just rimmed in and out. She loves to hit that little mid-range baseline shot, and a lot of those just didn't drop for her.
Yeah.
But have a couple more go her way. I mean, she's going to clear that easily.
I'm with you. You like that too, Eric?
Yeah, I was looking at her PRA for the most part. She just has a good history against Connecticut here, and they struggled quite a bit against her last game, and I think she's got more potential here.
I'm right there with you guys. All right, so here's a possible 5 pick if you guys want it. If you want to sweat with us, I think we entered this already as a team. I think we ran another one where we set up Copper's free throws. I think we had I believe AT's.
Yeah, AT turnovers. Yeah.
I just feel like both AT's turnovers and Candace, they feel safe enough to at least push. But yeah, we want the 15x, but I think they can go over. But yeah, I think either AT's turnovers or Copper's free throws totally with. Okay. You got about 12 minutes to get that in.
How long does the promo last?
12 more minutes.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure, right? It was an hour promo.
Yeah, it was.
I never got the thing. I just got the email that was like, "Hey, check it this time," and nothing.
It was like in fine print to the time. So, okay. So we can go ahead and dive into this. First game starts at 8 p.m. Eastern. We have Connecticut at Chicago again. 163.5 total. And Chicago, I think they opened at 5.5 point favorites, but then it went down to 4.5, and I don't know where it's at right now. Man, was that an ugly game, that first game? I mean, it was close and competitive, but just in terms of offense efficiency, both sides really struggled with shooting. A lot of bricks went up. And as a result, there were a lot of rebounds. Connecticut had 47 rebounds, which is crazy, and Chicago had 36. Yeah, I mean, Chicago, yes, Connecticut's defense is solid and a big reason why Chicago shot so bad. But like I said, there was a lot of missed opportunities for Chicago to score. I mean, Azra was missing layups. Emma was missing layups. Quiggs missed a wide open layup. It's just one of those off nights shooting for them. They were 8 of 30 from 3. Shot 35% from the field. And Connecticut didn't shoot much better. They were 37% from the field and 3 of 13 from 3, which is their norm. They don't really take many threes, and they're not efficient from the 3-point line. The big difference was Connecticut had 36 points in the paint, while Chicago had 24. Now both these teams are top 2 in points in the paint. That's where they get it done. They're not much of an outside shooting team, so it makes sense. But yeah, Connecticut won the inside paint battle. Starting since last night, my lean was under on Alyssa Thomas's assist. I mean, she barely got over 7 last game, and I think we know how Chicago responds after a loss, especially at home in a must-win game. They can't afford to go down 2-0. I think the defense clamps down even more so, and makes it even harder for Connecticut to score. And Connecticut has really been struggling in the playoffs with their offense. They have the lowest offensive rating, the lowest 3-point percentage, the lowest team assist since the start of the playoffs. But now her assist has gone down to 5.5. But yeah, and then other key thing I wanted to point out was JJ. In that game, she just looked completely gassed and couldn't keep up, especially when she was on defense. And I think that's a big reason why her minutes were at 25 and her usage was all the way down to 15%. I really like her under 15.5 points. She usually only clears that when she takes at least 4 or makes at least 4 free throws. So what did you guys' thoughts on that? And talk to me on this backcourt, this carousel in this backcourt, and just highly inefficient backcourt. Start with you, Eric. What do you think, man?
Yeah, honestly, I'm not touching the backcourt for Connecticut tonight. I mean, we've already seen in just this first game, and honestly, if you go back and really watch the history from throughout the season for these two teams, Chicago is a little bit more of a dice roll, what kind of offense they're going to roll out. But Connecticut is so straightforward. I mean, they are a machine. Like, it's the same thing every game. And we've seen, a couple scares here and there, I think, with between Heidemann and Williams off to a semi-hot start, but they just completely disappear in the second half. And honestly, I couldn't even tell you why that is. For me, I expect that from Heidemann, just from inexperience and some of her size in this matchup. It's not going to match up very well. But Williams is such a great defender. Like that, for me personally, it's blowing my mind that they're not playing her more and just leave her on one of these Chicago pieces to shut them down. And personally, I think if we see this game series go the distance, we could end up seeing some personnel changes because Dejanay, she's playing so phenomenal off the bench. And I hope coaches get an earful about not playing her more, because that really cost them in that previous round where they threw that they threw that one game. They should have swept the series, because Dejanay played 2 minutes in the first half and then played like 5 minutes in the second half. So hopefully they're fine-tuning their personnel a little bit here, but I'm not touching any of the backcourt today personally.
I agree. The minutes are too volatile, like you said. Courtney, the Connecticut seems just so fixated on reducing her second quarter run and giving it to Sims. Sims plays majority of her minutes in the second quarter, and Courtney loses out on those minutes. But it seems like they do that so Courtney can play the entire third. But yeah, I mean, Carrington she only played in the first, second, and fourth. She didn't touch the court in the third, so they should change that up. Maybe give either Heidemann or Courtney a little less run in the third quarter. I'm with you on that. Courtney's rebounds are always a point of interest in this matchup with her history. It's been juiced to 4.5 recently. Are you guys staying away from that? I mean, I will say that if you watch her and especially in this matchup, she chases every shot, especially her own, and really tries to get those rebounds. But yeah, I don't know.
When did that bump happen? I totally missed that.
Right when we went on air.
Okay. Well, for me, that makes my decision even easier. I liked her at 4. I thought it was maybe a reasonable play, maybe a little more of a risk for a push, but in my line of thinking, just the way the team plays in the minutes and the first half usage, there's no way I'm considering that over Bonner's 4.5 rebounds right now.
Right.
Like even though you look at her game logs, it doesn't look pretty in the last 4 or 5, but in her matchup, she's cleared in every, I believe, all but one meeting. And her just will to get that off of the glass last game was definitely there. And that first half, I think she ended up with 5 rebounds. So that's a pretty cushiony, spot for us, I think.
Yeah, I mean, her minutes are secure. We know in a close game she's Bonner's going to play full minutes. So I'm with you on that. And Courtney, a lot of her rebounds depend on missed 3-pointers. I watched at least for the recent matchup, and a big reason why she had 9 rebounds is because Chicago shot 8 of 30 from 3. So there's going to be a lot of freebies out there. So if Chicago takes less threes and shoots a little bit better, that definitely reduces her rebound potential. But Bonner, the rebound potential, I feel like can still stay there. So I'm with you on that. Vince, what's your lean on AT and any other props
For Connecticut?
Yeah.
I think it's kind of appealing. We know they're going to cut down the rotation. They have those key bench pieces that come off, but they're running their stars besides JJ into the ground. I still think Courtney and Heidemann are both walking bricks.
Yep.
You can easily plug them in for under points. I mean, if you just watch Courtney, she's not even getting set for her shots. Half of them running full speed, and she's just chucking something up as soon as she gets some space. So that's not going to fall for her. I promise you it's not. And just like you said, Connecticut's just a poor shooting team in general. So even though they shot poorly last game, that's a normal for them. So it's not like we should expect for some positive regression for them to shoot 42%, 44%. That's just not the team they are. And I think the under points for them is perfect for just about all of them because none of them are true scorers except for JJ. And JJ looks like she's done. She looks like she's just ready to go to Cancun and call it a day. So I think you could really consider under points for a lot of these players because Chicago's going to just lock them up. I think both sides, post game and pre-game, they kept touting about how much first quarter meant for each side. Every sentence they said, first quarter battle. And sure enough, you saw Connecticut come out there and dominate the first quarter. Not by scoring, but just by scrappiness, just by energy and playing defense and forcing turnovers. And that really disrupted all of Chicago's ball movement and flow. You're going to see Chicago bounce back and come out strong in the first quarter. They have to. You're going to see them get at least try to get a lot of points in transition, probably try to work in some more free throws because they weren't getting calls. Connecticut had seven fouls as a team. That's not going to happen again. And I think Chicago had 14. They had double. So I just think first quarter is going to mean so much. And that could also lead you to say maybe some first half unders too, possibly.
Yeah, I considered that for especially Courtney since she's missing out key minutes in that second quarter. But yeah, I'm with you. I mean, Chicago, they're going to come out on fire. Like we saw in game 2 against New York, they were just hustling and getting so many stocks and transition points. And when JJ's starting and out there in the first quarter and Brianna Jones is on the bench, that's when Chicago was able to penetrate and get points in the paint a lot. Copper was getting layups and driving to the basket. Even Quiggs was getting drives and little pull-ups in the paint. And then once Brianna Jones started playing more and more in the second half, then you saw players like that start to miss more and more shots in the paint.
Exactly.
So, and I think that's a big reason why Brianna Jones played the entire fourth quarter. I think, the coach really likes her to begin with, and I think he saw how much of an impact she was having more so than JJ. So, something to think about and keep in mind.
Yeah,
I
JJ's
think
toast,
Brianna
man.
Jones plays even more minutes.
JJ's toast, man.
Yeah,
She looks so just out of shape. It looks ridiculous.
yeah, ever since the COVID, right? So, yeah, since she's come back from COVID, I think it's been like a handful of games, maybe 5 to 6 games, and out of those games, she's only played over 30 minutes one time. So,
Sheesh.
and now we're in the playoffs. So,
And she's still playing 25 to 28 minutes.
yeah. And yeah, I mean, Connecticut, they did their job. They always say, as the visiting team in a series, you just got to steal one on the road, and they did that. So, way less incentive for them, and way more so for the home team in Chicago. Backs against the wall. So, unders make sense for Connecticut, and especially how poor of a shooting team they are. If they don't get it done near the basket, they're not getting those points. Or if they're not getting free throws like JJ, they're not getting there. Okay, and to finish it off, speaking of Brianna Jones, you guys have any interest? She was really efficient, but she did her usual thing and hooked everything. Like I've seen her so many times get right at that point total edge and not go over. I think she finished with 12 points, and I believe she finished with 18 PRA, and her
She did.
PRA was 18 and a half.
Yep.
Are you guys staying away or any interest?
I'm staying away.
I'm with
Same.
you. Yeah, they didn't move her lines. They've stayed the same since game one. So
And she'll hook again. So
yeah, she will. Okay, let's move to Chicago and then we'll catch up with chat. Okay, so we kind of already went over what we think Chicago is going to do in response in this game, but let's dive in more detail on some of our favorite props here. Besides Candace, and we already said we liked Emma's PRA. Did you guys have any other strong leans? We also mentioned Copper's free throws.
Go ahead, Eric.
I was just going to ask, just for Chicago as a whole.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely going to start with Parker, like number one. If you're playing something from Chicago, it's got to be something with her. I mean, I know we maxed her out as probably already behind the scenes today, but she's just got so many different options today. Honestly, the three that you got up there right now, and even her assists, I think are totally live for her.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you for reminding me on that. Yeah. Going over that in that game, due to all the missed shots and bricks, I went and looked at all the potentials. Candace still finished with what, 5 assists?
Yeah, 5
Yes.
assists.
And on top of that, she had 6 potential assists left out there on easy missed shots too, layups by Quiggs and Copper, and even Azra. So, that's a lot. You got 5 assists, and then on top of that, you throw 6 potential, and then Sloot, she had 10 potential assists, a lot of easy missed shots, a lot of rim outs, and she only finished with 2 assists, but that explains a lot why she did. 10 potential assists is crazy. They just shot poorly. So if you think that they come back up to their season averages today, assists totally makes sense for both Candace and Vandersloot. But I like Candace being at a lower line here at 4.5, and since she's already made it clear that her main focus is rebounding and defense, really sets up nice for her assist here. She's focusing all her energy on rebounding and then trying to get others involved. I do like that. Do you guys like any pairings with her assists, or would you just run it solo?
That's been my issue all day. Is like, who am I going to pair that back with?
I mean, you don't have to. I mean, run it naked, but it would be nice.
A lot of those assists are either from transition points with Copper or those like backdoor cuts by Sloot and Quaid.
Yeah. Yep.
So you're going to want to pair with either one of them. I mean, Sloot's points did go down to 11.5. That's a possibility. But I just don't feel comfortable with going really pairing it with anyone scoring wise. They're just so balanced. It's just really hard to tell who's going to have a good night and who's going to have a night. So
Yeah, for sure. And then on top of that, Connecticut's a solid defense, and it could just be one of those just full team effort, and everyone scores, but no one has like a ceiling game. So I'm with you on that. Okay. So how would we rank this for Candace? Because it's hard. It's been a topic of discussion for the last 2 days. Um, Obviously, her 9.5 rebound was probably the most appealing when it opened at that. Now it's up to 10.5. Would you guys rank her stocks probably number one still, and then what would be after that, or are you guys just gonna recommend equal exposure for people out there? What do you think, Eric?
I think that you shouldn't spread yourself or shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket. Like, don't go too hard on, I would say, between the stocks and the rebounds. But I, personally, yes, I have a ton of posts or pre bumps for her rebound and stocks right now, just because I think that's going to change to 2.5 before locks. But probably just spread your bets around between her. Just think about your card construction. Try not to double dip in props that are going to negatively correlate. I would definitely say the fantasy, I think, is got to be the last, just a hedge on if Chicago really claps back tonight. That's a really high bar for her, and she has hit it and has done it with fair ease, but we could get somewhat of a limited run from them in like the fourth if it gets too far out of control.
Very good point. Yeah, I mean, even if it doesn't like blow out early, like say it goes into the fourth, there is a possibility that it's over by, say, less than the 5 minute mark. You could miss out on key closing minutes, even if it's just 3 to 5 minutes. That could really put her over the edge on that fantasy. So it's a really good point. While I think the other props she can clear and not require that full closing minutes. And then yeah, we already went over Emma. She, like I said, she plays more minutes in this matchup, and as a result, Stevens plays less minutes. It was kind of the inverse for the New York series. Stevens is playing more minutes, and Emma's minutes went down to 25 to 26. But we've seen, yeah, in this matchup history, it's been Emma. It's been the main one eating those minutes up, because they both eat into each other's minutes and rotate in and out for each other. Yeah, I'm with it on the PRA, and then I think you could also consider first half fantasy we talked about as a group. You're getting a discount on it, just a 0.5 discount from the full game, and it's really low for her. We've seen her be really efficient in the first half, and her and Quiggs play the most minutes in the first half out of the starters. So it's something you want to consider if you are thinking that Chicago pulls away early. I wish we had her assist prop or point assist, but I think yeah, PrizePicks wised up on that. Okay, and then so what are we thinking for Copper? It's a tough matchup for her against AT and Bonner and others in the paint, but they took her 0.5 block steal away. Are you guys gonna stick with her free throws? And that's about it.
I think you could go free throws, then maybe if you don't want to rely on refs, you might be able to go just her points.
It's low.
It's low. And she missed those free throws, and she missed a lot of open layups too. And if you think Chicago's going to come out and really push the pace, she'll be the main benefactor of that. So it's really just based on like game script, and if you don't want to rely on that officiating to dictate your whole slip.
Yeah, one thing to point out, she was really efficient in that first quarter run, like I said, because JJ was out there and she was blowing by her. And if we think that Chicago's going to come out and push the tempo and get turnovers, force turnovers, and get transition points, she's going to be the one contributing to those transition points. So if you wanted a low line, her first half, 7.5 points could be in play. It's right there on the edge, but We've seen her in these playoffs come out really aggressive and efficient. I mean, she'll drain early threes in the first quarter. So
Mm.
if you want a little bit lower line to sweat than her full 15.5 points, it totally makes sense just because of JJ being out there and no Brianna Jones and no Twin Towers during that full first quarter stint there. How about you, Eric? Any other props? Copper, Quigley?
No, just honestly, I'm gonna have a pretty tight list for tonight. I think we were hoping that players would do their normal thing this last game, and we should have leaned a little harder on the consistent stuff that we know is going to happen. So for me tonight, just sticking mostly with like Asia rebounds and Candace stocks, just combinations of the strong players that we know are going to play heavy minutes.
I'm with you on that. And then to finish off Chicago,
Yes.
Stevens, it did get bumped. Of course, all our favorite plays got adjusted today. Her fantasy went from 21.5 to 20.5. If things hold true in this matchup history, we should expect probably 16 minutes from her. I don't see her playing more than 20 minutes. And if that's the case, it's going to be really hard for her to get over even that post-bump fantasy. Also, her points, too. She really struggled to get her shot in. I will say that she missed a couple easy layups, but it's just not a good matchup for her. Is her fantasy still your guys' favorite for if you want to consider under? And this is a great correlation pairing with Emma, since, like I said, they are highly intertwined with each other.
So a big reason why I like this was after the post game, interviews, they had Azaro over there, and they asked her. They said, Khan came out physical. They came out aggressive. Is that something you guys were expecting? She was the only person on the coaching staff who said, I wasn't expecting that. As a coach, I would be like, I'm going to keep Emma out there for a little longer because you're obviously not ready for this type of matchup. It's not your strong suit. I mean, not only was she missing layups, but, Khan was pressing her whenever she got the ball. She was fumbling it, could have caused some easy turnovers. And she was airballing threes, like wide open threes.
Mm-hmm.
She looked bad. She looked really bad. And they even asked her, they said, are you feeling okay? Like, is everything all right? And she said, yeah, no, I'm fine. I just don't, just like you said, I don't see her getting more than 20 minutes. She's not ready for this matchup. She's not a super physical player. She's kind of more of a finesse big.
She's a finesse. I was just about to say that.
Yeah, definitely a very finesse, like just kind of like linky big, almost like a Bonner, almost.
Yeah,
sure.
They're kind of like the same player to me.
Yep.
And she's not ready for this one. She can't go against JJ. She can't go against Bree, AT, any of them. They're just too aggressive for her.
Yeah, and just to kind of tack on to that, that's really silly of her not to notice that, because if you take a look for the season on her, she had one game where she started and Candace was out and she played massive minutes. But that aside, she hasn't eclipsed 20 minutes all season. So for that to be a surprise for her, like that just shows that coach doesn't want to play you in this matchup. And the fact that every time she's going to come in off the bench, it's going to be against Bree, and Bree is like the most physical player in the league. And you're asking for a tall, lanky center to go up against that, and that's just not going to happen. And I think that going right back to Emma, that's why we see her play such a massive role in this matchup, because they have to have her on the floor.
Oh, yeah. Definitely a size play for them. Emma's just big. She's physical. She's a wide body. She'll get it done. And she can pass too, so that takes some pressure off of Candace.
Yeah, Candace at her age, even though she's getting it done stock wise, at her age she can't rely on her physical ability anymore like she used to. I would say that Emma's pretty much the only player on Chicago that can somewhat match the physicality of Connecticut, which is why Chicago is more known as a team as a whole, as a finesse team. So yeah, even more reason they need Emma out there, because they just don't have the physicality to match Connecticut's. So great points there, with you on that. I would say that the only way I could see her playing more than 20 minutes and clearing her lines is that if it blows out early on. I think that's pretty much the only range of outcome where that can happen. So I think it stays close to the fourth. Just given
I
the
think it
history.
does too. I think both of these games will just be a game of runs. You're going to see a team pull away, another team call a timeout or get a break and get it back together and make some halftime adjustments. I'm not seeing a huge blowout potential here.
Yeah, I'm with you. And before we move on, I saw in chat someone asked about Rebecca Gardner. I still think I like her as a player. I think her lines, in my opinion, are still too high. For a player who's going to be playing 15 minutes, the fantasy scores should be much lower. In my opinion, should be like 12 and a half. What are your guys' thoughts on her?
Yeah, 12 and a half. I was just about to say that 14 and a half is just way too much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
guys-
She's been really getting that off of a lot of her defensive stocks, but if she's not picking up 2+ stocks a game, like there's no way she's even coming close to that.
yeah.
I would still even go her PRA, honestly. She's out there for one reason. And
Defense.
that's just straight defense. Like she's scrappy. She might get a couple rebounds, but she's not a scorer at all. And she's just doing the dirty work.
Yeah.
So if you're scared that Khan does turn the ball over more, then maybe PRA. Because it only got bumped down by one, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's going to rebound and look to set up others. Because her and Ezra check in together, and she looks for her a lot and passes to her a lot. So, we got some more bumps, guys. All right. Our favorite Heidemann has gone down from 7.5 to 7 points. So,
About time.
that's that. Yeah, keep an eye out on any others as we go along. But anything else I'm missing for Chicago? Or are we gonna move on?
No, I think it's about it, honestly.
I'm with you guys. All right, let's catch up with chat. Michael T, let's get it. Anyone on Bonner free throws 2.5? I didn't think about it, but you guys have a lean.
Not so much for her free throw. I mean, it's in her wheelhouse, but it's a little bit higher for her. Honestly, for most of the season, her props been kind of around that 1.5, 2 marker, and just really with the last 2 games, with her production basically just going up, they bump the lines up again. But talking about Bonner actually reminded me, I don't mind her 1.5 turnovers. She has a horrible history in this matchup.
Right. It's a good call. Forgot about that one.
That would have been a great pair with the copper stocks too.
Yeah. So I had it with the early slips with that, but now I think it's still great to pair up with Parker stocks.
Yeah, it's a good call. I'm glad we rehashed that. Thank you, Michael. I will say, Michael, that yes, she had 6 free throws in that last game made, but overall, Chicago is a pretty good team at not fouling. They allow the second least amount of free throw attempts. So, Jermaine, welcome back, fellas. Hey, what up, Jermaine? Underrated, our boy, the best crew in the galaxy. What up, boys? Crush Johnny and Tommy tonight. Oh, we're coming for him, man. Heist is here. All we need now are the bots to show up, and it's sealed. The fate is it's over for Johnny. What up, Cowboy? Matthew, what up, man? He said I still have in that 4 slip with Parker over fantasy, Courtney under assist, Thomas under assist, and JJ under points. I like it. You're hoping for complete destruction of Connecticut. Harry said someone in Connecticut has to go over the props, right? Man, I'll say they won last game, but a lot of these prop lines they barely went over or hooked. Bonner, one of her points with a last-minute layup. Alyssa Thomas, I think her PRA hooked or went over by one. Went over by one. Man, they're always right there on the edge, so you never know. What up, Cowboy? Sloot will be more aggressive. Love her fantasy paired with Williams turnovers. Yeah, Sloot just like I said, she had 10 potential assists. I mean, she did her job out there. It's just her teammates let her down. So Cowboy said 80 assists. Oh, you're going back to that, Cowboy? Please tell me you're not. Trill Fate. Candace Fantasy is free. I mean, she plays full run. I'm with you.
Just
Cowboy said,
I was gonna say, quick note on AT there. Just keep in mind, like if you saw in this previous game, she's not the ball distributor. Like she's the shooter in this matchup. She had 16 shot attempts, almost like up there for a season high for her. And if you go back and look in a lot of the game logs, or for this matchup in this season, some of her higher field goal attempts are in this matchup. So just keep that in mind.
that's a great point. And she's racked up a lot of points in this matchup as a result. It's a good point. Cowboy said 80 assists or turnovers. I'm going turnovers.
Yeah, and even to tack on with that, that's perfect. She's gonna have the ball in her hand more.
Oh yeah, and her and Bond are going to play the most minutes. So I like both of their turnovers in separate cards. Lorenzo said Emma gets the run because she deals with JJ and Bree better with their size. Yeah, the size and physicality, they need her. What up, Flo? She's a baller low key, Cowboy said. Oh, AT? Yeah. Harry said Rebecca Gardner fantasy pair, Courtney Williams turnovers. If you think Rebecca's she can rack up the stocks, man, but it's a high line. She's gonna need about a fantasy point per minute. Trophy said Stevens over 4 rebounds looks okay. It's a tough spot, and low minutes for her. So I think it went up to, is that 4 still? They go to 4.5, or maybe I'm thinking of Brianna Jones. It's probably still at 4. It's still at 4. I just worry about the minutes. Trill Fate said, "Oh, they took Copper down." Yeah, they did. We saw that coming. I was actually surprised how long they kept it up for. Hey, what up, Obi? Oh yeah, Matthew. Yeah, I still like it, man. Oh, Cowboys talking about Emma. Yeah, man. This is her time to shine with all the minutes and runs she's gonna get. It is a tough matchup, but she has that little fadeaway shot, so she can get the scoring done away from the basket too, and she can make 3-pointers as well. So yeah, I like her potential. You could also, you consider her real points too. She hooked it at 10, and like I said, she had 3 shots that went in and out. So someone else is gonna have to get it done besides Candace today. So I think Emma's points and Copper, they're gonna be needed big time. All right, let's move on to the late night hammer. So this starts 2 hours later, 10 p.m. Eastern. The first game opened to over 170 total and went down now to 169.5 for this game. It's probably just reaction to the first game. I will say that the first game, both those teams hadn't played a game in like almost a week, and there was expected rust. Even Becky, head coach for Vegas, said that she expected rust from her team, and that's what happened. So they started the first quarter really rusty, but Seattle didn't. So as a result, Vegas put themselves in a hole. Seattle won the first quarter 26-15. And that kind of just put Vegas behind, and I think it just messed up their flow and everything from then on. They were trailing for a good portion of the game, made a run and came back, but it was a abnormal. I wouldn't say like totally abnormal game for Vegas because we've seen them play this hero ball before, especially between Chelsea Gray and Plum, where they just dominate the shot volume and don't look to pass. But I would say just overall offensive efficiency was a little bit abnormal for them. I expect a bounce back here in terms of their offensive game plan and ball rotation and passing. I'm sure Becky made it an emphasis in practice over this last 3 days to really try to focus on getting the half court offense set. Don't force and rush passes. And yeah, I mean, they just gotta distribute the ball more. Even Chelsea Gray said in post game, she said we got to share the ball more. I think she was not only talking about Plum, but I think she was talking about herself too.
Oh, definitely.
Also, going back to that post game, Plum was completely dejected. She only answered one question. One of the questions Chelsea answered for her because she was just totally out of it, and I think she was really down on herself for she missed a couple wide open shots that could have tied up the game or put them in the lead at the end there. Yeah, so I think Plum is the kind of player, from what I've heard from reporters and what they say about her in practice, she's the kind of player when she messes up, she goes and practices those shots and those plays over and over and over again during practice and tries to get it right. She's a perfectionist, so she could easily bounce back today. I would not be surprised, but I don't want to bet on that. I think there's too much volatility with Vegas guessing who's going to have that spike scoring game points wise. But yeah, especially with Chelsea Gray, who's a black hole and won't pass it and just pull up shots. But yeah, here's another situation where I think, we have a home team coming off a loss, must-win game, can't go down 2-0, especially going to Seattle where Brianna Stewart will put the clamp down if she smells blood in the water. This is another must-win game for the home team. I think we expect, same kind of results, better efficiency, better performance. But we got to pick the right props, obviously, and it's hard with Vegas due to how many mouths there are to feed. So let's start with who should we? Let's start with Jackie and Asia. Are you guys pretty set on their props with Jackie's fantasy and Asia's rebound?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, so Vegas backcourt is the worst to choose from. But that front court, they don't really have anything. I mean, they have Asia and then they have Stokes and Rupert and Hamby, and we don't even know if Hamby's going to be active. So,
oh yeah, thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah. So that and that's also going to be a big factor too. Of course, they took down Stokes, so we can't smash her unders anymore. But I think if you're going to rely on Vegas, you have to just stick with Asia and the fact that Jackie got bumped down and her fantasy points are so low. I mean, she'll play 33 minutes, and at 27.5 or somebody who can get stocks, that's just too low.
It is in this matchup history. She has a lot of success playmaking too. She racks up the assist in this matchup too, so that racks up fantasy, and she'll always get it done on the glass. So yeah, she has to take more shots. I mean, I'm sure Becky's like, look, Jackie's one of our best scorers outside of Asia and Plum. Like, she needs to shoot more. We can't have Stokes taking more shots than Jackie Young. I mean, come on, like. That's just, I know Stokes, a lot of it is due to her being left so wide open, but sometimes that's fool's gold and it's too good to be true. Don't go there. go to your tried and true. It's got you there all season long. And that's the big three. That's Jackie, Plum, and Wilson. And then obviously Chelsea will do her thing.
And we also didn't see Asia get aggressive. She was really passive the whole game. She stayed around the perimeter. It wasn't until like the second half where she really started to get into the paint and get those rebounds and really started to work in there. But you saw that whenever she did actually post up and get in the paint, she was successful. Either she got to the line or she got a bucket. But all those other shots, they have to go. They have to go. Becky has to tell her, you're the big. You got to get in the paint. Mm-hmm. You got to draw some fouls. You got to get to work. And I think that's what we're going to see today from her.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think Becky's already come out and said like, yeah, they need to feed Asia. She was saying it during that game, but even post, yeah, they're gonna find ways to get her the ball. I mean, Seattle, they were hedging on her off screens. They were coming and just trying to be disruptive with her, and they were also trapping her. But yeah, I think they're just gonna have to scheme up ways to get her the ball. I think it starts with just getting it at the high post.
Yeah.
Sometimes with the big, if you can't get them, if they're getting trapped and so much attention down low in the low post, the best thing to do is just get them up on the high post and let her work from there. And she can set up others too with that. I think she played the most minutes of the starters, 38 minutes. It just shows how crucial she is for the team. I imagine in a close game, plays the same amount of minutes, and with that, she should crush the rebounds, especially if Stokes plays less minutes. And her free throws are live too. I think if she gets aggressive and they feed her, I think there's a high chance that she draws some fouls here. So are you guys still leaning her rebounds number 1, and then maybe free throws 2, and anything else? Maybe, you could even consider a fantasy if she's playing 38 minutes. I know she hasn't been clearing it lately, but it's all the way down to 41.
I think with Asia, just keep it straightforward. She's a points and rebound usually she's crushing that free throw prop at home. So I'm definitely with you there that's kind of a surprise that she wasn't doing that, because she has had really good success in this matchup. And some of that could be, in large part whenever Ezzy was starting earlier in the season and they didn't have Tina. But same thing could be said for Tina. She'll go out there and slap you around too. So it's either or. But I think that honestly, now that we don't have Gabby and that we do have Talbot in there, with her, if you watch her, she's super scrappy. Like, she is on you and very defensive prowess, but she will foul and she will draw some serious fouls. So I think that maybe this could be, if coach is actually going to have the team feed Asia, then she's definitely going to be live for at least 4 free throws tonight. But she's good for, honestly, outside this last game, 20 plus real points at home almost the entire season. So I think that we got to kind of goldfish this and see that they're going to really get back to their roots for this game.
Yeah, I expect that. And her points are only down to 19.5. It's just crazy because she's usually around 21.5. All season long, she's been one of the highest point prop out there. So, okay. And then so I'll add Jackie Fantasy. Let's talk about Plum's assists. It's all the way down to 4. Probably the lowest I've seen it. Is it too volatile? Because Chelsea Gray could just have one of those spike like 9 to 10 assist games, and Jackie could get some assist, and Jackie could also play make. Are you guys going to stay away from that? Just kind of with the game theory that Becky wants them to distribute more and rotate the ball more. Probably takes less than 23 shots that she took last time.
Who knows? Maybe. But I think that can be safe for a push if you go with that game theory. I guess my only concern is that Plum's just a straight scorer. Like she's just a try hard scorer. And just like you said, she'll go back after games during practice and practice those same shots she missed over and over again. So we could see her just have more success on those shots, and then that would definitely just lead her to just keep chucking. She's not going to pass it. Then if like those shots are actually falling, she's not going to pass it.
Yeah.
Nah. And if you go back to, just step back to Jackie real fast here, I know we had kind of mentioned her assist prop too, and that's something that she's cleared in all but one of the meetings in this matchup so far. And that could make sense. We've seen Plum take some of her highest shots in this matchup to try and really attack Seattle from the perimeter. And I just don't think Gray. I think Gray's like the question mark here. And it's just, who is she going to take away from here? Because last game she took away from kind of everybody, but the game before that, she really soaked up from a couple different people, like one at a time. So it's kind of hard to, I think, break down that part of what side of the beast you're going to get tonight from Vegas as a team. But we know Jackie's our home queen, so at least you got to go with track record.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just trust Jackie probably the most out of all of them. Even though a lot of times she will take the biggest hit when those other two ball hog, but I just trust her to get everything done. And it's very rare that she just completely ghosts like Chelsea Gray can. Chelsea Gray, she has the potential to go full ghost on you. So speaking of her, are you guys going with any of her props? Her fantasy went up by 1.
I never get it right. And that assist play last time really hurt. So I think I gotta stay away.
I've taken a couple of shots at her PRA, but I think for her, just that and the 2 turnovers, that's the only 2 plays I'm going to even consider.
Yeah.
Which I think she pushed her turnovers last game.
She did.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Ready to move on to Seattle? Did I miss anything?
Let's do it.
Oh yeah, keep an eye out on Hamby being upgraded to questionable. That would change things quite a bit. I know Stokes, her props are gone, but I think it will definitely boost Asia's rebound prop even more so because you got to imagine Hamby probably being rushed in to play now because she was expected like 1 to 2 weeks return. And now it just seems like Becky really forced the issue for her to come back because Becky's just completely done with Stokes. So I got to imagine if Hamby's not 100%, she's not going to look to crash the glass. So you have to do all the rebounding.
If you do want to play some Stokes unders, she's still up on underdog.
Oh, good call.
So her points are at 6 and her PRA is at 15.
Good call. Okay. Moving on to Seattle, which, in my opinion, I got to take her. Is the hardest team to figure out on the slate. Everything's, I think, priced appropriately, super juiced. Tina had a monster rebound game. She said post game that was going to be her main focus in this series and going forward if they make it to the finals. Was crashing the glass and helping them because that's been Seattle's main weakness all year is rebounding. And yeah, she had 18 rebounds. I don't see that changing today, but there is possibility that, we've seen when Tina plays bad in the first half or gets fouls or anything like that, we've seen the coach immediately lean on Ezzy to come in, and Ezzy ends up getting more minutes than normal. So there is that possibility. But if Tina can just, continue what she did like in game 1, I think she could still play that 29 to 30 minutes again. And her rebound prop went up from 7.5 to 8. But I think it could still be considered. I mean, it was sitting at 8.5 for the longest time. So it just seems like in this matchup, they really want Bree to focus on getting the offense, the transition going and getting set for the offense and not having to worry about rebounding like she's done over the last, 5 to 10 games. And just have Tina focus on that and Tina just getting the offense set and on transition. And so Bree can get ready. So I totally get if you want to go back to her rebounds, it makes sense. But yeah, just keep that in mind that, her minutes aren't guaranteed. That's the only thing, because with Ezzy waiting in the wing, they can always rely on Ezzy when things don't go right. And Tina's struggling for whatever reason. And then the only one for me, and I'll hand out to you guys, that I liked is Jewel Lloyd under 9.5 first half points. I've seen all season long when I take her full game point prop, she is such a slow burn. But 8 times out of 10, she starts a game slow and ice cold in the first half, and then she's a second half player. Once she starts warming up, she'll get going in the second half and go off. It's also taxed. I mean, it's equals 19 full game point when you add it up. So getting a discount there. I just think that Vegas comes out and really tries to shut down her, especially. Becky said they have to make Jewel an emphasis on defense, stopping her. She's burned them in the last 2 games. She had 38 points and then now 26 points in the last game. I think they're gonna really keen on her and probably just allow Talbot and Sue to have more open shots and just say, Jewel, you're not going to burn us here. So with all those things combined, I think you can consider her first half 9.5 points. I know it's scary because she's a chucker and yeah, she's going to shoot it, but I just think Vegas is going to really focus in on her. What about you guys? Anything? Do you guys like that? And anything else for Seattle that you might consider, especially if you're doing just a late night card tilt betting on just this game? Eric, you want to go first on that?
Yeah, I think let me hit a quick refresh here to see if they fixed Tina's points and rebounds. But if it's still at 20.5, I think that's we're getting a full point in our favor.
Okay.
Yeah, it's at 20.5. And I mean, if you go back and look at this last game, her volume was insane. And I'm still to this day cannot believe she didn't clear her 13.5 points prop. Like
she did it against Atlanta recently, right? Or no, it wasn't Atlanta. It was some team, and she went off in the first half and had that shot volume, and then still.
Oh yeah, she had like 0 the second half. She did just didn't ghost completely.
Yeah.
Just crazy. But I mean, if she's for me tonight, I got her projected for about 9.5 rebounds. I think she's going for a double again, and especially if we've seen, as you were just talking about with Stewart and the transition from their offense to defense or defense to offense, a huge part of that too was also with Talbot. If you look, she had 6-7 rebounds last game as well, and I think that honestly, with Talbot now in the starting lineup, they're really going to hone in on that. They'd much rather Talbot be a rebounder and distribute a little bit and just work on defense. Stick to that. Let the offense roll through Stewart and Tina and Jewel. And we saw that really come into really focus in on those 3 players. I mean, you look at the shot volume between the 3, the only ones that cracked double digit on the team. Sue Bird had one of her season low just dud game, but she had 12 assists though. So
and she played 37 minutes, which is like season high minutes. Like she's all season being a vet, she would play like 28 minutes.
Yeah, and so there's a little bit of kind of deep run that's going on with this team, and I think now, especially with Gabby off the floor, we're going to see the exact same look from this last game, same rotations, and assuming that we don't have any kind of like early foul trouble. For me personally, I really love Tina today just because her history looks so mediocre and bad in this matchup. And a lot of that, going back to the previous game, was a coaching decision. For whatever reason, they only ran Tina, I think, like 4 minutes in the entire first half, ran Ezzy for a deep run, and they ended up losing that game. So I think coach definitely learned after that one. We saw Tina play massive minutes this last game for, what Tina plays. And tonight, I think we can go right back to that.
And also, Seattle was saying that they've had a pretty strict minutes limit on like these vet players too, particularly for this time. They're really pushing to win now, and especially after taking that first game, it's very possible for them. So I definitely think that, just like Eric said, like you see a very similar rotation, very similar minutes. I think they're going to rely on their vets heavy. Bree is going to be the focus point of our offense. I do agree with you. I do think that Jewel's going to be trapped more because you can't have Jewel and Bree going off. You can't. And you can't even risk having Jewel just wide open.
Yeah, she did have a couple open 3-pointers, which is, that's inexcusable. Going back to the rotations in the first half under for Jewel, her and Bree and Sue pretty much are playing the entire second half. So it would make me nervous to take under on Jewel for full game just because, she's going to play all those minutes in the second half. But the first half, this is where she plays the least amount of minutes. So even more, less scoring potential to get over that 9.5. And you see in that second quarter stint, she only made one shot there. So I'm with you on that. And then going back to that, Tina played most of her minutes in the first half. Eric, I know you called out last night her first half PRA at 11.5. Are you still liking that, or do you like the 20.5 PR more?
I really love that PR, man. And I'm so just blown away that they haven't changed it at all yet.
Yeah, it's still set as if her rebounds was still at 7.5. So
It's
Okay.
just she can miss some easy layups. Oh man.
Yeah.
I mean, all those rebounds were just straight off of her own miss. She's like another Courtney Williams out there, grabbing her own misses and putting them right back up.
Yeah. Okay. Any other Seattle props that we should touch on? Obviously, Bree, phenomenal player and going to carry the team in high minutes. Super juiced lines. Anything standing out for you guys for her?
No, they're pretty juiced.
Not really standing out. I mean, you could, I think, points and free throws. Just that's what she's going to do all game, anyways.
Yeah, in fantasy, she does so much.
I mean, if you really believe that she's just not going to be crashing the glass like that, they did raise her rebounds from last game, but that's super risky. I mean, it's Bree, and they could easily just throw everything at her on a defense, and she just focuses on just filling up the stat sheet. So
yeah, we've seen that, man. We've seen ever since Tina's joined this team, we've seen Bree and Tina switch off on rebounding. One will have a spike rebound game, the other one will take a back seat. But just sounds like and looks like it's Tina. But yeah, anything can change within game. So that I'm with you. That could be risky.
And also with a question mark with Hamby coming back in, we don't really know how that's going to affect this matchup like as a whole. She could be a better defender than Stokes. We don't know that.
Yeah,
she's probably quicker for sure. Stokes is slow.
Yeah, she can space the floor a lot better. So, that actually could be a problem for Stewart.
Yeah, good point.
Okay, and then what about we got Talbot for the first time on the board, and then what about the good old Bird? What are you guys going to do with those two, if anything at all?
Going right back to under her points. I think she was at like 9.5 or 9 last game.
For who?
For Bird.
Oh, okay.
She is not worried about it. And I was watching that post-game interview where she was talking, or Jewel was talking about like, hey, Bird was like, I'm going to pass you the ball. I'll just shoot. That's all you need to do is just shoot. So, I mean, honestly, she's just out there to really pull one of the three guards from Vegas away, trying to keep them out of the game as much as possible. And then whenever they're bringing the ball out, she's just bringing the ball back out to that side, dishing it off, and then run back to defense. That's all she does.
All right.
I really wanted the 3 points made at 2, but they did bump it back down to 1.5.
Oh yeah, it was 2 last game, wasn't it?
Yeah, I still think it's kind of in play because, I mean, she was not even attempting to try and shoot it from beyond the arc.
Yeah.
It's risky, though.
I mean, she could hit a couple threes, but only thing that scares me with her is that amount of minutes. It's just crazy. But I mean, you're right. I mean, her role in these playoffs and especially this matchup is to play makes, set up others, and play defense. So,
did we see how many potential assists Sue had?
I didn't look.
Sheesh.
It's like over 20, right?
Had to be.
I mean, with Gabby going too, like Gabby was eating up so many assists, like even more assist potential for Sue. So
even Bree, she was going on that stretch where she had like 3 to 4 for about 5 or 6 games in a row.
Yep.
So Talbot, what you guys thinking?
I mean,
She's so scrappy, but that foul trouble concerns me.
A little bit, yeah.
I mean, even if she gets in foul trouble, I mean, they're gonna play. They have no choice. I mean, we can't bring in old Prince, and I guess we bring in January, but
I mean, she might just honestly be locked in for a certain role here, certain amount of minutes, and
Yeah.
this could be the last time that we could go back to I wouldn't say a free square now. She was free last game, but
Oh yeah.
a good play now.
Are you only in fantasy or PRA for this one?
probably fantasy for the stock upside, right?
That's what I was thinking. She doesn't turn the ball over too much, and mostly just points and rebounds. So we're not getting the max out of it, but we're at least getting the points and stocks potential.
Yeah, I mean, if I was playing a late card for only this game, I'd probably play her, but probably won't have much exposure in the full slate. And then Ezzy, minute can't. She's too low to go under, and she's not enough minutes to go over, in my opinion.
Yeah, she's probably a fade.
Okay. I guess we do one more team card now that we've kind of broke everything down. And then we can get to building our rank list and our cards before lock. We'll have an hour before lock. So what are we thinking here? What do you guys want? Eric, you probably, I mean, you probably want to start off with Tina's PRA. You like that pretty strong on that?
Yeah, I think we need to get on that before he gets bumped.
Okay, do that one. Vince, what's your
We just
favorite play?
doing full slate.
Yeah.
Let's get some Emma.
PRA?
Yeah.
All right, let's pair that with Azra's under fantasy.
Like it.
All right, Eric.
Let's go.
Your favorite, your second favorite play.
I was gonna say, was Candace up there already?
No.
All right, let's go to the stock. Want to?
Okay. Finish this off, Vince.
Where are we at? I guess let's get to that. I don't know. I really want to take Courtney under points. I really do. What a walking brick.
You know, the funny thing is like, she didn't even clear this point prop because it was 9.5 first game. She didn't even clear it. She took 16 shots, right? Or 12. Something crazy like that.
That's awful.
Yeah. She was 3 of 12.
I mean, I guess there could be some concern about just the volume alone, but she's trash.
She's bad. So bad. And she's cost us money in the past, so let's get our revenge here. There we go. Our full slate team card there. Post breakdown. See what Chad has, and then we can get out of here and get this list going. Trayvon asked Jackie under rebound. Oh, man, I'll never do that with Jackie. But I get it. I mean, it's high for her. Like, she's usually around 3.5 to 4, but you got a good feeling on it. Someone said, Candace is 16.5 points on underdog. Would you guys consider that under? Oh no. You guys?
No, I don't trust that.
Who was that?
They were asking if you go under Candace 16.5 points on underdog.
Probably not.
The commentators during that game were saying that Candace was like lacking confidence in her shot coming into the series. And so before the series, she went and talked to her wife, her coach, and her dad. And then she got in the lab and just went to work. So I think her confidence at an all-time high right now.
Mm-hmm.
I would stay away from any unders with Candace.
Yeah, she took a season high 9 3-point attempts. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
And she is not a 3-point shooter. I mean, she can, but that is not what she's trying to do. That is going to get her so tired.
Yeah, she usually takes 3 to 4 a game. I saw a crazy stat. She almost had a 5-5 steal block game.
Yeah.
And there's only like 20 something NBA players in history that's ever done that. So it's
That's
pretty
amazing.
crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Our boy Cowboy said Stewie's threes. I mean, if Vegas focuses on shutting down Jewel on the perimeter, it would make sense. But yeah,
She really loves that empty corner mid range shot. That's where they really thrive the whole game. You saw them. You saw Vegas hedging all those ghost screens, and she would just slip off into the empty corner and just jack up the wide open shot. And Stokes was too slow to slide over. Hamby could change that, but I think she's just in love with that mid range game.
oh, she loves it for sure. Cowboy also said F Jackie. Her name's Houdini. Oh no, that's Chelsea, man. Tina at 22.5 PRA now. Uno said. Did that go up?
No, she's been there.
Oh yeah, we were talking PR. Sorry, points rebound only. Trophy said Talbot is a must play on DraftKings Showdown. All right. I mean, I'm sure she's cheap. Tina got bumped. Would you still do 22.5 over? Michael said. Did the PR? The PR didn't get bumped, did it?
I don't think so.
Not yet.
Oh, sorry guys. We're talking PR. Not PRA. So. It's at 20.5 still. And is her first half still 11.5?
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. You guys got anything else?
I don't think so. I think just keep it pretty tight for this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll get our rank list out, all of ours, and put it in our Discord, which is if you're not part of it, the link is below. It's growing and awesome community. And it's all of us in there. So we're always chopping it up, and we'll put the list there, and then we'll put it in our Twitter space too. Hopefully try to get it out within probably the next 10 minutes. But yeah. Eric, what's your feel on the slate now after it's changed so much? You still confident?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident, at least right now, with the early locks and what have you.
Okay. What about you, Tito?
Same. I think I'm more confident with the fact that we locked in some really good plays early. If we didn't get stuff like copper stocks and everything, I'd be a little concerned.
Yeah. I hope it turns out good. I think game script wise, I think we can predict these two games, these teams in desperation mode. But yeah, the next game 3 is not till Sunday, so we'll probably do a stream on Friday for that, and then provide content on Sunday. Definitely try to get in props early on if they post them on Friday, because you see how much the lines change by game time or game day. So we'll do that, and then I assume Game 4 will be the following Wednesday or Tuesday, maybe Tuesday. Okay, so we'll stream then too. So Friday and Tuesday, expect us to come back and do the live streams. But yeah, good luck everyone, and yeah, I'm feeling good about today. Peace.
Let's get the
Peace, y'all.
Let's fucking go. We about to go big. Kill him with the brass pig. Let's fucking go. We going out blazing.
Let's get hunting.
This is population. About to go big. Kill him with the brass pig. About to go big. Kill him with the brass pig. 24/7 researching, it's all a fantasy. But if I make the right plays, it pays automatically. Bankroll showing that I know it dope strategy. On a winning streak, I'm stacking a dose of the bookies, all get mad at me. Confident with how it plays, not clicking on a flex today. 10 times the money, and we all about to get paid. Eric and Josh on the stream, they be killing it. Never gonna stop it, I like if you feeling it. Digging the players, they all know what time you can't make up your mind, then just go with your gut. Fantasizing, Sasha Clown. Gabby Williams said, watch your mouth. They 1 and they 2, I played the over, they come through. Jackie Young and Kelsey Plum, pick them both, we stacking them. Going big to the maximum, just push them in, we cashing them. Let's fucking go. We about to go big. Kill him with the brass pig. Let's fucking go. We going out blazing. This is population. About to go big. Kill him with the brass pig. About to go big. Kill him with the brass pigs. We about to go big.
This is the game.
We going out blazing.
Let's get hunting.
This is population.